Today on the Republican Talk Show, a Democratic donor has dropped Joe Biden. He said he's not going to donate any more money, and many other Democratic donors are no longer giving money to the Democratic Party until Biden's off the ballot. They don't want Biden on the ballot at all. The Tennessee judge is refusing to release the Tennessee school shooters' writings. They don't want to release it. They don't want people knowing what this deeply anti-Christian school shooter had in their writings. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are now allowed to travel across the European Union. They're allowed to travel wherever they want within the European Union. And we're going to be reacting to 4th of July TikToks. More about that in this video. Welcome back to everybody. I'm your host, Kenneth Glenn, and today, if you're curious why I'm in a different setup, why my setup looks a little different, it is because my wife wanted to play video games today. So I got kicked into the bedroom. As you all know, or as you all probably know, arguing with a pregnant woman is about as deadly for your health as malaria. It's about as deadly as having malaria. So I decided not to even do that. I just came in the bedroom, whatever. So, moving on. So there's a major Democratic donor, and they're now pledging to not donate to the Democratic Party unless Biden relinquishes his position as the presidential nominee. This comes from the Daily Wire. Abigail Disney, the Harris, who is the granddaughter of Roy O. Disney, the co-founder of Walt Disney, or the Walt Disney Company, has given hundreds of thousands of dollars to PAC, that supports the Democratic Party, including Jane Fonda, Climate Change Policy Action Committee, and Planned Parenthood Votes, issued statement to CNBC expressing her desire for Joe Biden to step down. So this has been a big problem for Joe Biden since the debates. Joe Biden since the debates has been so disliked and so hated that many people on the Democratic Party who originally pushed for Biden, pushed that he was great, and the same kind of people who were literally saying that Biden's fine, Biden's very snappy, Biden's very good, are now saying that he should step down because he's not mentally capable. Actually, it's gone so bad that more people are actually in agreement right now that Joe Biden should step down from being president and that he's not fit to be president than people are in agreement of the moon landings. More people believe the moon landings are fake than people think that Biden should be in office, which is not a good look. I don't think there's ever been a president who's been this hated, ever. I don't think there's ever been so much agreement that a president should step down as we have now. Not even when Woodrow Wilson was in office. By the way, when Woodrow Wilson was in office, it was really bad. It was public knowledge that his wife was running the country, and it was really bad. And even back then, it wasn't even as bad as it is now. So yeah, this is not a good look, and it's an even worse look for people who still push for Joe Biden to be in office and to push him for the president position. Anyway, moving on. I intend to stop any contributions, this is her quote exactly, to the party unless and until they replace Biden at the top of the ticket. So right now, this is my theory on why RFK got taken, it wasn't allowed at the debates at all. So RFK was not allowed at the debates because Joe Biden knew he was going to do crappy. He was going to do really, really bad. And if RFK was at the debates, he would be probably the most popular candidate because most people don't want to vote for Trump as well, but they are because he's the better option. But if they gave him a third option, and they gave him a chance to have a third option, RFK would get a significant amount of votes. A lot of people are like, no, RFK's bad. No one would vote for him, whatever. I've heard all the debates, but no, RFK would take so many votes out of this election. And I would even argue that if he had more poll and publicity, that he might actually have won this election. But he was never allowed at the debates because Joe Biden is an actual dictator. So she continues here. This is realism, not disrespect. Biden is a good man. Maybe. I don't think so. And has served his country admirably. Well, that's a stretch. Ever heard of the 1994 crime bill or the busing acts or the many crime bills the many other crime bills he's passed or his support for Jim Crow? I wouldn't say admirably. But the stakes are far too high. If Biden does not step down, the Democrats will lose. Of what I am absolutely certain, or of that I am absolutely certain, the consequence for the loss will be genuinely dire. Disney continued by arguing Vice President Kamala Harris should be the president nominee, saying, "We have an excellent vice president. If the Democrats would tolerate any of her perceived shortcomings, even 1/10 as much as they tolerated Biden's, and let's not kid ourselves about where the race and the gender figure in that inequity. And if the Democrats can find a way to stop quibbing and rallying around her, we can almost win. Can find a way to stop quibbing and rally around her, we can win this election by a lot." So here's the funny thing. It's like, we don't want Biden because he's a bad president, he's mentally unstable or whatever. But let's push the person who's been abusing this elderly person, who's seen firsthand how bad his mental state is, and has not said anything, has been just going along with it, and participating in this elderly abuse. What you got to admit, I don't care who you are or what, you literally got to admit that what's going on in the White House right now is elderly abuse. They're literally abusing an elderly man. This is straight up elder abuse. If you told Joe Biden back in 1990 that when he was 81, the White House is literally going to use his brand recognition to basically bully him into being president and make a complete fool out of Joe Biden just so that they could push their garbage narratives and their garbage, because we all know that Biden's not running the country. We all know that Biden's not making decisions behind. If Joe Biden was making the decisions behind the scenes, there'd be a lot more punishment in crime. The crime would be a lot lower, the immigration policy, all that stuff. But it's not. And if you were to tell Joe Biden in the 1990s, or like when he was 40, 50, even if you were to tell Joe Biden like 9 years ago, that he was going to be treated like this by the Democratic Party, he would have turned his back on you guys. I'm telling you right now. If someone were to go back in time and tell Joe Biden that this was going to happen to him when he gets older, this is how the Democratic Party is going to treat him, he would have turned his back on you guys. Not even Joe Biden would like what's going on here. Joe Biden doesn't care right now because he doesn't really know what's going on, as we can all tell. And it's kind of pathetic, in my opinion at least, that the Democratic Party is pushing for Kamala Harris, even though she's been participating in this elderly abuse. She's been pushing for elderly abuse as much as everyone else. And they're pushing her to be the next pick. How about we get rid of everybody who's involved with Joe Biden's presidency because they're all scumbags? How about we ignore all those people and completely disregard them because they're terrible people? I don't care what you think about Joe Biden or whatever, or maybe you like him, maybe you don't like him. You got to admit that what is going on right now in the White House is such bullcrap. No person should be treated the way he is. No person should be abused in the way that Joe Biden has been abused for the last 4 years. This is ridiculous. And I think that pushing Kamala Harris is about just as bad as it gets, because you're literally pushing for the person who's been okay, who's literally been okay with this elderly abuse the whole time, who's literally gone along with it. I don't know. I just think it's kind of sick in the head that you're okay with her abusing the elderly person, but you're not okay with the elderly person being in office. It just doesn't make a whole ton of sense. The article continues. In April 2022, Disney weighed on the Florida parental rights in education law and her opposition to it, as well as the right wing's efforts to combat the woke agenda adopted by American corporations, declarating that the right wing has finally run amok. She also called Christopher Rufo, who has been documenting the whole woke politics inside of Disney Empire, a little punk. So Christopher Rufo has been kind of like secretly documenting what's been going on behind the Disney corporation, and according to what's being said here, she called him a little punk for doing what he did, which, I don't know, big shocker there. If I was a corrupt scumbag, I wouldn't like if someone exposed me either. A long Twitter thread, Disney began by snapping, like all radical ideologues, the right wing has finally run amok and is coming to devour the hand that feeds it. Business. For my part, I am delighted. It is the business world that has been either by act of omission feeding the opportunist right to distract, she stated, us with the culture war nonsense, while they rifle through until they empty everyone's pockets. So, yeah, she's no longer supporting the Democratic Party until they have Biden step down, which is great to see. It's great to see that these people who've literally been supporting Biden, who's been supporting the Democratic Party for a long time, are now stepping down and pushing away because they see how bad the mental state is. The Democratic Party, I predicted the Democratic Party would lose all of their credibility for this stunt, but it seems like the people are just kind of ignoring the fact that the Democratic Party has been pushing Biden and saying that he's a good candidate for all this time, when we all knew that wasn't the case. But for some reason, people are just like okay with that. They're just like, oh, whatever, oh, everyone makes mistakes or whatever. It's just kind of weird that that they just haven't seen that the Democrats are just genuinely evil and straight up moronic. And it's kind of weird the Democratic Party hasn't lost all their credibility because of this. It's just, to me, it's kind of weird. Okay, moving on. So, we have a new ruling in Tennessee. The Tennessee judge rules against releasing writings of trans-identifying Covenant school shooter. So, a Tennessee judge on Thursday ruled against releasing the writings of a transgender-identified shooter who killed 3 children, 3 adults, at a Christian school in Nashville in 2023. So, this is the writings that I talked about on the show a couple weeks ago, where she was like fantasizing and making like doing weird sex stuff in her things, and she's like, I want to be a dude so bad, I want to do these weird sex things as a dude. She was just like super messed up in the head, and the government has done a great job, the media has done a great job, and the justice system's done a great job of hiding this information. They don't want the information out because they don't want conspiracy theories. They don't want to create conspiracy theories on what's going on with the school shooter and what happened. And they don't want to, just doesn't make a whole ton of sense, because if this was a straight white male who hated, let's just say it was a black college that got shot up, and it was a white supremacist who liked Trump, all of his information would have been leaked. They would have leaked all of his text messages. They would have screenshotted the parts. If he said the N-word, been like, oh, look, he said the N-word. Oh, he's a racist. He hates black people. Oh, this is Trump. This is who you're voting for, guys. Oh, look at this Trump supporter. This is who he's voting for. That looks pretty bad on Trump because a mass shooter shot up a black college under Trump. If it was a Trump supporter, it'd been all over. But it's a transgender school shooter. So not only did they defend her action, saying it was some revenge story, some triumphant act, which, by the way, according to a lot of reports, the school never mistreated her, by the way. This wasn't some revenge thing. She's just a sick, twisted person who hates Christianity. She literally hates it. She literally wrote it in her journal, how much she hated Christians. In a ruling released on 5:58 p.m. local time, Davidson County Judge, oh boy, Ilshia Miles? Is that how you say that? Anyway, insert name here. Judge Miles, I'm just going to call her Judge Miles. Judge Miles said that copyright claims put on the writings of the woman who attacked the Covenant School preempted public records request. So she's citing copyright law here, which doesn't make a whole ton of sense, in my opinion. Miles also sided with the Metro Nashville Police, who have so far refused to release its investigative file on the shooting, citing an ongoing investigation. So, if it's an ongoing investigation, it would make sense why you wouldn't want to release anything because it's an ongoing investigation. However, it's kind of messed up that the judge isn't going to release the actual writings of the school shooter because she's dead. He's dead? She's dead? She wanted to be a dude, so she was a chick. So yeah, she's dead, so it doesn't matter. Release the writings. It doesn't matter anymore. You can release them, it's fine. Based upon the Supremacy Clause and conflict preemption, the Federal Copyright Act serves as a valid exception to Release Public Records Act, and thus preempts the disclosure of any original work of authorship in any form created by an assailant shooter's last name. We're not going to say the shooter's name because quite honestly, you can rest in piss and you won't be missed. That's all I got to say. Which has collected by respondent Metro Miles Rowe. So basically, the Federal Copyright Act serves as a valid exception, which is kind of convenient, really. It's really convenient that you're not going to release the writings of the school shooter. But you had no problem, not her necessarily, but they had no problem releasing the writings of the, Buffalo shooter who shot a bunch of black people, and they released all of his information within 12 hours. All of his information was released within 12 hours because he was a white guy who had, radical Nazi views. And people tried to swing it as he was a conservative, but he was actually a radical Democrat, which is the funnier part. That they were, pushing it so hard, and then it came out that he was a Democrat, and then everybody ignored it. Just funny how that works. The ruling is the latest development on an ongoing battle over the writings, which began soon after the school was attacked last year. Multiple parties, including the Tennessee Firearms Association, or the TFA, the Tennessean, and the Tennessee Star, Republican state legislator Todd Gardenhire, and National Police Association sued the city of Nashville last year to gain access of the writings. Because we should have the rights to the writings. For crying out loud, she's dead already. Who cares? Release the writings. But they don't want it They don't want us to know the truth because they don't want us to find out the person was a radical Christian hater. Radical Christian hater who shot up a Christian school because she hated Christians. We only have like 5 or 6 pages from her journal, and what we found out was that she's screwed up in the head and that she hated Christians with a burning passion. She had a burning passion for her Christians. She hated Christians so much. Yet we're not going to release the writings because we don't want conspiracy theories to start. No, you just don't want your community to freaking look bad because you're scumbags. I made a show about this the other day. Conservatives will report everything because we don't have an agenda. We don't care. We will report everything. We will report everything. Okay, 2 days ago on the show, I took a break yesterday because of the 4th of July. I wanted you guys to spend time with your family and enjoy. But the day before that, I talked about Trump being the rapist. The whole hashtag went along, and the document that points towards Trump maybe being a rapist and whatever. And I share that news anyway because it's news. Because I don't have an agenda here. I'm here to spread news. I'm not here to be like, oh, whatever. Now, I don't actually think Trump's a rapist, but I still report news because I am a good reporter. And conservatives, like me, don't have an agenda. But the mainstream media has an agenda. They're against, they want kids at drag shows, even though they're disgusting. They want to hide information. They want to hide information of the illegal immigrants causing a bunch of crimes. They'll make crap excuses like, oh, did you know legal civilians cause more crimes than illegal immigrants? Yeah, it makes sense because there's more legal civilians than there are illegal immigrants. However, if you measure it per capita, not the case. But the media's not going to cover that because of their crappy agenda. So yeah, once again, we got another crappy judge making a crappy decision. What else is new? You live in America. If you live in America, there's no good judges in America for the most part. I mean, we got some, like Matt Walsh. He's a great judge. Anyway, moving on. This is really great. This is what I want to report on the most today. This is what made me happy. Like, this genuinely made me happy. So Andrew Tate, who was arrested about 2 years ago, and he happened to be arrested on the same day that the Epstein files were released, so I don't know, that's not weird at all or anything. But he's been arrested and he's basically been treated like crap for the last 2 years by the Romanian government because he's a good person. That's what they do to good people. When you're a good person, they treat you like garbage. And now he's been released. For the longest time, he's been under, he was under arrest for a while. He was literally in prison for 3 months. They held him for as long as they possibly could until they possibly couldn't anymore because they didn't have enough evidence to show and keep him in prison. So he went to prison for as long as they possibly could have held him in there for. They didn't find any evidence because none of this is true. It's all garbage. There's literally reports from October of that year saying that we need to get Tate arrested. We need to get him arrested because he's too much of a threat. There's literally actual documents and emails that show this evidence. But I digress. So, for a while, Tate was under house arrest. For a while, he couldn't go anywhere or whatever. And then he got off of house arrest. He actually go out and do things now. But the big kicker is he's not allowed to leave the country, or at least he wasn't until today. So, for a while now, Andrew Tate's mother has been having a lot of health. Andrew and Tristan Tate's mother have been having a lot of health issues, and she had a heart attack or whatever, and it's kind of sad because they couldn't see his own mother. They couldn't see their own mother because they're under some garbage arrest over some garbage charges that probably aren't even true. And today they've been finally released from this. Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed misogynist influencer, can leave Romania, but must remain within the European Union as he awaits trial charges of human trafficking and rape, a Romanian court ruled Friday. Yeah. The ruling by a court in Romanian capital of Bucharest, means Tate, his brother Tristan, and two further defendants may travel freely within the European Union until their trial. So basically, they're allowed free reign until their trial, which I'm not sure when their trial exactly is. A spokesperson for the Tate brothers called the ruling significant victory and a major step forward in their ongoing case. Yes, this is a great thing. This is a good thing. Quote, we embrace and applaud the decision of the court today. I consider it a reflection of the exemplary behavior and assistance of my clients. Andrew and Tristan Tate are still determined to clear their names and reputation. However, they are grateful to the court for placing this trust in them. The spokesperson said on Friday, or I'm guessing that's today, actually. In a video posted on X, Andrew Tate called the case against him a sham, which it is. He's been allegedly a human trafficker for like 20-something plus years or whatever. He's been a human trafficker for a long time. And then now we're supposed to believe... But now that he's famous, we're going to charge him. See, that's how it always goes, right? That's how it always goes. So someone's like a nobody, or they're like a good boy, they stay within the lines, and then they step out of line a little bit, and then they get charged with stuff. Or they get accused of crimes. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny how that works. And it's the same kind of people always getting charged too. It's not like Bill Clinton's getting charged. It's not like Hillary Clinton's going into prison. It's not like AOC or Bernie Sanders or Biden. It's always like the conservative guys. It always happens to be the conservative guys getting charged. It's just funny how that works. Anyway, my judges decide I am allowed to leave Romania, so I will take the Ferrari SF90 to Italy. Do we take the Maserati to Cannes? I'm not sure. These are cars. I'm not a big car guy. Do we take the Ferrari competition to Paris? Where do I go? He asked. The Bravo is typical of Tate, who shot to internet fame in recent years, racking up billions of views on TikTok with diatribes about male dominance, female submission, and wealth. In April, Bucharest court a Bucharest court ruled that a case against the Tate brothers on charges of human trafficking and rape could process to trial. At the time, a spokesperson for the brothers said that they had appealed the ruling. The Tate brothers and two Romanian civilians were arrested on December 22nd and formally indicted on June 2023 on charges of human trafficking, rape, and setting up criminal gang to sexually exploit women. Accusations they deny, because they're all garbage. Okay, here's the thing. If someone's committing a crime or whatever, usually that crime is known of before they actually go to jail for it. So for example, O.J. Simpson, people were familiar with O.J. Simpson and knew that he may have done something to murder. He may have murdered his wife, or he did murder his wife before the trial started. It was just out there in the world. I'm trying to think of another example. But usually you're aware of a crime happening before people are sent to jail for it, or people are in prison for it. Like when Michael Jackson was like a pedophile or whatever. I don't believe he was. And if you read Donald Trump Jr.'s book, Triggered, you would also not believe it. But, like, usually you know about these things before. Like, usually it'll be a thing that goes on for years. Like, oh yeah, this has been going on for years. I wonder when he's going to get arrested for it, when he's going to get tried for it, or whatever. Usually, stuff like this is known for a while. But it's just like, out of the blue, Andrew Tate just got arrested for human trafficking out of nowhere for some reason. It's just like, it's just weird how that happened, you know? Usually when things like that happen, usually when someone's just like accused out of nowhere, out of the blue, it probably just didn't happen. That's just my how I view the world. It's how I've seen it because it's happened so many times to so many people. It's like once they get famous, then that's when all the attacks happen. So that's why I usually tend to not believe these different accusations. Oh, believe all women. It's kind of hard to believe all women because like you lie all the time. It's gotten to the point where it's so difficult to believe you people when things are said because you've literally screwed yourself over on that. They've screwed themselves over because for people like me who've seen stuff, who've seen the different things that people will do, seen the different types of corruption in the world, you will know that most of this stuff is garbage. Usually if someone actually committed a crime, it's known and well known before they actually get arrested for the crime. It's usually not some like random day they just get put in prison. I'll give you another example. Ted DiBiase Jr., the wrestler, he's like robbing people with tons of money and stuff like that. And he wasn't even put in prison until, I don't know much about the case right now, but like at the time that I was researching it and looking into it, he wasn't even in prison yet. So like, it's just kind of weird that we're supposed to believe that all of a sudden this guy's in prison. Like, it's just, all of a sudden this is true because he just went to prison one day and there was no accusation or anything of this before, and then now all of a sudden he's going to prison. It's just weird. Alright, now, I am going to be reacting to some TikToks. Because, why not? What else is there to do, you know? So, I found some anti-American 4th of July TikToks that I thought would be funny to react to and respond to. So, let's get into it. Let's watch the first one now.
Hi. The only reason why the Revolutionary War was even fought in this country is because Britain told the leaders of America that they could not steal any more land from Native people. And the rich and powerful leaders of this country went, you know what we want to do actually is steal more land from Native people. So they convinced all the poor and the enslaved to fight this revolutionary war on their behalf, promising them all kinds of stuff and giving them nothing in return when they actually won the war. So nothing changed for the poor or the enslaved, but the rich and powerful got exactly what they wanted. So that's the story of America. Just the rich and powerful getting what they want and destroying this fucking planet. America sucks. Don't celebrate this fucking day.
Yeah, no, completely wrong. The people who were fighting in the Revolutionary War were poor people as well. They were poor people as well. So, for the longest time, so this is how you know someone doesn't know much about U.S. history and stuff like that, is when they say stupid crap like this. Okay, Samuel Adams and like the Lexington, the Concord stuff, those were all poor people. The Boston Tea Party, that was all done by poor people. For crying out loud, George Washington fought the Revolutionary War without shoes. He didn't have shoes. He wasn't rich enough and he didn't even have enough money for shoes until Lafayette stepped in and helped fund the war. This idea that the Revolutionary War was fought for rich people so the poor people can be enslaved or whatever is just, it's stupid. Like, read a book, for crying out loud. Read a book. I don't know. Quick recommendation for you. Founders of Our Nation, or Founders of Our Country. There's 2 volumes of it. Read them both. They're amazing. Read those books. I'm telling you. Read a book. Because once you read a book, you'll realize how good you actually have it in this country. Okay? I love our country right now. I might not like everything about it. I might not think that everything's great. But our country's amazing. Like, you could have been one of those guys fighting a revolutionary barefoot in the winter. You could have been one of those guys fighting like that. You could be, martyred, or you could be a woman in Iraq or whatever. Like, there's so many worse places you can be, and you're going to sit here and complain, oh, I'm not going to celebrate America because of racism, man. What racism? You mean the racism like multiple presidents over multiple years trying to end slavery. Whatever, man. Let's just move on to the next one.
Dear America,
We regret to inform you that the 4th of July has been canceled.
Due to the lack of freedom,
lack of autonomy, lack of expression,
And a lack of democracy.
sincerely, women,
black people,
LGBT plus children.
And all other minorities.
Yes, because this is the country, as we all know, where all minorities are oppressed. Yes, it's such a racist, deeply racist and evil country where illegal immigrants are literally trying to jump over the border to come here. There are people from the other side of the lake coming over here. There are people from the east coming over here, from India, Pakistan, all over the world, trying to break into this country because this country's racist? You expect me to believe that there's a lack of freedom in this country? Oh, this country's so not free that you can post TikTok videos about how not free the country is. This country has such a lack of democracy and hates minorities so much that they don't even get convicted with crimes. Isn't it funny that when minorities do crimes, you never hear about it?
Mr. Brown, what exactly are you saying?
I'm saying that I, Cleveland Brown, a black man, shot Cleveland Brown Jr., another black man.
I don't know, on like Juneteenth, for crying out loud, there's a crap ton of shootings, like mass shootings, and none of them were reported. Isn't it kind of funny that there's mass shootings being committed by black people and no one's reporting on it and no one's calling like, oh, these guys are racist, whatever? Oh, that's a lack of freedom though, right? There's a lack of freedom in this country. I don't know. The idea that we can vote for whoever we want to vote for and speak freely, you can literally call for the murdering of the opposite race as a minority, and it's completely allowed. But somehow you're supposed to get me to believe that your bullcrap claim that this country isn't free. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying your bullcrap. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. You're not going to get me to believe that this country is racist or whatever. It's not going to happen, buddy. I'm sorry. And there's a lack of my bodily autonomy. Get the heck out of here. You have bodily autonomy anywhere you want. You can get a tattoo. You can literally get your boobs bigger. You get BBLs. You can literally do whatever you want. However, you can't kill your children, and boom, now your bodily autonomy is completely screwed. Right. I see how it is. Alright, let's move on to the next one.
So I'm not celebrating the 4th of July this year, and I haven't for quite a while, because I don't really think that there's anything to celebrate. I don't want to ignore our country's history, and when I say our country's history, I mean all of the god-awful shit that our country has done. And I also want to make clear that I don't think I've ever felt patriotic, or any kind of sense of patriotism. And I know some boomer is probably going to get in my comments and tell me that I'm an ungrateful little shit, and, I just haven't, had to work hard enough, or I haven't had to suffer enough. I'm a disabled woman in this country, so trust me when I say I've suffered enough. I've just never understood the loyalty to a country that would prefer you to be dead or prefer to use you as a human meat shield rather than ever give you a shred of anything that you could call your own. Our country is run by billionaires who have built their wealth and their empires off of our literal flesh and blood.
Yeah, I'm done watching this crap. So, yeah, I get it. You're disabled and that can be hard. But I don't understand what you're getting at. You still live in the best country in the world. What, you think your disability would have been better in Europe or Canada, where their hospitals are overfilled and chaotic? You think their healthcare is better? You would rather be taxed 65% and get free healthcare than live in America? I don't get it. And then you're like, oh, the god awful stuff they did in our past or whatever. What are you talking about? Yes, every country's history has bad things that happened. Every country has done bad things. All of them. You're not going to look at any country and go, yeah, they did bad. By the way, America is the country that got rid of slavery all around the world, by the way, for the most part. America did. We're the first country that abolished that garbage. We're the first country to say, hey, yeah, no, this is probably not a good thing. We should get rid of this. No other country's done that, by the way. We were the first. We were the first that ever did that. We got rid of slavery first, and then all the countries followed afterwards. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be grateful for. And then you're going to sit here and act like, oh, the billionaires and whatever. Try to live your life without one billionaire. I dare you. Seriously, you want to trash on these billionaires and want to go, oh, these billionaires are so bad and evil and they have so much money and they buy yachts and Live your life without one of these billionaires. I dare you. I don't know. Live your life without Bill Gates. Stop going to Walmart. Don't get any packages. I better not see you get a single package at your front door. You better not order from FedEx or UPS. You better not get any mail through them. You better get rid of your cell phone service. You better get rid of your internet. Stop buying from Jeff Bezos because he's a billionaire. Stop ordering his stuff. Stop using Twitter. That's Elon Musk. I dare you to stop using the things these billionaires do. I guarantee your life gets worse. If it wasn't for these billionaires, who, by the way, hire over like 10 million people, they literally employ 10 million people, and that's not even all time. All time, it's probably way higher than that. And you're sitting here complaining over garbage. Oh, I'm not going to celebrate the 4th of July because... What else are you going to celebrate? Like, what other country is better than this one? Like, name a country that's better than this one. And then explain to me why that country is better. And why you haven't moved there yet. I don't know, like... Come on, man. Alright, moving on. This is going to be my last one, because I'm literally going to have an aneurysm like Joe Biden in the 1980s if I keep going.
In the shadows, damn your love, damn your life. And if you don't love me now, you will never...
Ah, yes. You're not going to wear red, white, and blue until you have bodily autonomy. While she's wearing blue and white. Yeah. By the way, these comments are freaking brain dead. These comments are stupid. You're so beautiful and smart. She literally flipped off the camera, and this is peak intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. This is funny. People are in the comments are actually trashing her too. Let's kill a baby, so fun. Like, what the F is wrong with y'all? Yes. This whole country's evil because you're not allowed to kill your baby. Until I'm allowed to kill my baby, I'm not celebrating. I love how women treat one part of bodily autonomy as the whole thing. And I'm sorry, getting an abortion isn't bodily autonomy. And it's not like the government banned you from being able to get, like, ectopic abortions. Or something like that. You just can't murder your... And it's not even like the entire country banned it. They brought back power to the states as it should be. Every state should have its own rules on abortion and what it thinks. And if you don't like your state's current stance on abortion, just move. Oh, what's that? You don't want to move out of your nice Republican state because the Democratic states suck? I don't blame you. But yeah, getting an abortion isn't bodily autonomy. Getting an abortion is garbage. You're killing your baby. And actually, abortions are a lot more dangerous than you think. There's a lot of problems that can that can come from having an abortion. I saw some statistic out where it's like 47% of abortions aren't safe, or something like that. So it's like, come on now. Stop believing this garbage. Killing your baby's not healthcare. Get out of here. Alright, well that's going to be the end of my show. I hope you liked it. If you liked this video and want to see more like it, I make videos like this every single weekday. I'll see you guys later. Peace.